Lonesome Dove, first race of the Long Island Regatta, Joey Gale.
All right, so hold on, this is Jeff Gale's son.
That's me.
Oh, you're Jeff Gale's son?
I am, yes.
Good job, man. It was a great race. There was a back and forth between you and Susan Chase.
Yes, it was.
For a little while. So what do you guys do to outmaneuver them?
Just outpointed them the entire race, I think, just about.
You outwind them?
Outpointed them.
Outpointed them?
Yes.
All right, no problem. Who's the guy on the side of you?
This guy?
He's the good luck charm.
Sorry, MP.
MP. All right, good luck, guys. Next race.
Thank you.
All right? Yeah, man. I'm here with the skipper, Uncle John. Can you give me a name, sir?
My name is Alban Gibson.
All right, Mr. Gibson, where are you from?
Auckland's.
Auckland's, which part of Auckland's?
Masons Bay, Auckland's.
Masons Bay. So
Yeah.
your boat originates from there?
My boat is originally from there. Uncle John and the Ninja.
And who's Uncle John?
Uncle John is my father. He got me started in sailing, and I built the boat to honor him.
How old were you when you got into sailing?
I got into sailing when I was like 3 years old.
3?
Yeah. He used to throw me down in the bottom of the boat, and we used to go.
You could have swim at 3 years old?
Oh, yeah.
All right, so what do you expect to happen over the next couple of days here in Long Island for Uncle John?
So far, I'm expecting to do really well because this is the kind of breeze we really like. So I'm expecting to do very well in Uncle John and the Ninja.
So high wind is better for you guys?
Yes.
High wind?
Yeah. She sailed much better in the harder breeze than the light wind.
All right, Mama, good luck, man.
Yep. Thank you very much.
All right.
Right.
This is Mr. Stefano Kemp. He has a very important role during every regatta, which is making sure the sailors get proper sails. So Stefano, every year I know you have a long slate of customers coming to you to either fix the sail or make a new sail.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, every regatta, they know at the last minute I'm gonna get it done. So, I have a lot of pressure on me right before regattas, but nevertheless we get it done.
How long have you been doing it?
Now, I think I have about 16, 17 years in it. As of course everyone know that King Eric taught me the skill. So we just taking on his legacy in sail making and in sailing.
Well, keep it up, man.
Thank you.
All right. Great race, guys.
Yeah. First race of the regatta. Good race.
Coaches, what was the key to holding off Steph in that last lap?
The key is pretty much the first thing about sailing. You want to sail in clear air. That's the main thing about sailing. That's how you sail the quickest around the race course. And I noticed Stefan was creeping up on me under my lee. And I made the decision to tack off and all that clear air. And once I got clear air, I knew I was in the lead pretty much from there on. It's very shifty in Long Island, so it's just, you got to watch the shifts and watch the puffs on the water. That's pretty much it.
All right, man. Good luck in the next race.
All right, thanks.
Lonesome Dove, first race.
Well, they always say it's best for you to receive your flowers, if any, while you're still above ground. So I'm very honored and moved by consideration of Long Islanders and making city for this film. Well, like everything else, it had its challenges, it has ups and downs, and it's a very rewarding career if you're disciplined enough and willing to put in the time and the effort. But it's been quite a journey, But for the most part, the interaction with me and the Long Islanders is pretty good. It's a pretty strong one. Persons from north to south, pretty good relationship with the Long Islanders. We've had 3 boats. The first boat we had was the Eminent Seekers. That boat, the keel was laid in 1987, and we commissioned her in '88. I remember we departed St. Augustine in February of 1988. And I ran that for a while. I ran that for until about 1993, I think. And then it was sold off to our cousins, the Maycoms. And then we looked at replacing that boat with another boat, which is called the Cherisem. And the Cherisem came about in 1995. We serviced Saul Pond in the Sharisam from 95 until we got the Highland Link in 2004. And we've been servicing the Long Island community from 2004 to date. Yeah, that's about almost going on 21 years with the Highland Link. Yep, I've been participating in regattas from quite a while. I would say probably from 1983, I want to say. 83, 84 is when I started on the parade. I've been sailing actively in the regattas from then. Well, sailing is in me. It's in my blood. My grandfather sailed for a living, literally, on a sailboat. We sailed between the islands of Regatta Island, Cuba, and there was a lot of trade with Haiti and the Bahamas back then. And then my dad came up after my granddad, and he was doing the exact same thing. And I guess I just picked it up, my dad left off. It's in me, it's in my blood. And I sail on the A-class. We have two boats, the New Courageous and the original Courageous. So I sail on those two boats. Most recently, the New Courageous, I've been on that. She was launched in '97. But I've also sailed on B-class boats and C-class boats, which are a lot more work. But I sail on all classes. Smaller boats tend to have you more active because they're not as steady as the A-class boat. You're crankier, so you got to be on your P's and Q's on those small boats. If not, you're going to sink, capsize. I sank once or twice here. The key is to try not to sink. I want to pick up where I left off last year. Last year, we didn't win. I think the running tide won last year, but we had our issues, our fair share of issues. Nobody really cares about that, as far as they're concerned, you're going to beat, which is correct. So I'm going to go up there this year and give it another try. Yeah, for quite a while. Well, first, it took me a minute to take it all in. I'm like, wow. And finally, somebody's giving me a little bit of recognition. Yeah, I'm very humble and moved, and I'm really appreciative of the consideration of the Long Island District. It's not for the faint of heart, I can tell you that. It's not easy. It's a lot of time away from home, a lot of missed birthdays, missed everything. It's a life on the sea. And that not everybody is cut out for this type of work. It takes a special individual to take on a life of a seaman. Well, the key word in most things in life is, if you're the young people, is discipline. I would say discipline. You have to be disciplined in whatever it is you do. Discipline and have a mind to work. You'll be all right. Well, to all of my sailing adversaries out there, courageous coming. Be on the lookout. Be coming.
Welcome back to Sailing from beautiful Salt Pond, Long Island. We're in the southern part of the Bahamas, central southern part of the Bahamas, where today we've had some excellent sailing already in the books. C-class early this morning, followed by E-class, B-class just recently, and now we're getting ready, Captain Plug, for the A-class. I'm your host, Dwight Hart, and again, joined always doing these recent regatta broadcasts by Captain Patterson, Captain Plug, we call him for familiarity. And Cap, we got an A-class coming up.
Yeah, well, let's get the party started here. You know what? The breeze has dropped off a little bit since this morning. I think it's going to be great conditions for the A-class race this afternoon. See who can get off the start line first and out in the clean air.
All right, well, we have 7 boats registered, Captain Plug, for this A-class race. A couple of heavy hitters in there, and some also has-beens, but I'll let you run through them.
Yeah, so the entrance we have today, in no particular order, we got the New Legend out of Long Island. We got the Good News, Running Tide, also a Long Island boat, and the Rough Justice, the 3rd A-class boat out of Long Island. The Ed Sky, Captain Gene from Exuma, and the Courageous. And I think Jed is being honored at this regatta, if I understand correctly. So that's the starting lineup in the A-class. We got 7 boats out there ready to take on Salt Pond Harbor. Conditions are not bad at all, really, for the A-class. These are 28-footers. It's the big boys, about 12 crew. and getting lined up out there on the starting line. I imagine we'll have a fairly short race. Daylight. We still got some daylight here, but we'll see if we do a full 2 laps or what the race committee decides on.
Yeah, I'm thinking one, you start from the start position, come down to the windward marker, bed back up, and back down to the windward, and then probably to the finish line.
Yeah,
similar to what happened in the
B class. Yeah. Yep.
All right, I believe a little birdie has told me we have a surprise skipper sailing. Good news today. And we'll see whether that holds true and whether it makes a difference, and where good news has been showing as of recent. I was made to understand that Buzzy Roll, who has been sailing the boat out of Black Point, a silent partner for the last couple of races and doing extremely well, has jumped on board to skip it a good news.
This is going to be interesting.
And for sure, we'll see how that pans out. The newest boat in the A-class fleet, Captain Jane, sailing out of Exuma, I don't think we've seen her in enough regattas to yet get a feel as to whether she will ever be a top performer or not. She's looked good enough, I believe, to finish in the top 3 in 1 or 2 races. But I think, young crew, young skipper, new boat, they're still trying to figure out the right trim for her. And I think this is probably her 4th regatta, I believe, since she came out about 2 years ago.
It definitely takes a while to get these boats dialed in. Speaking from my own personal experience on the Abaco Rage, there's so many variables, sail size, how much lead you have in the keel, how much lead you got below the floorboards, all these sorts of things. It really takes the mast height. We had a new mast built for the Rage a while back by Mark Knowles, master boat builder out of
Long Island,
Mangrove Bush there. And he built it to the length that we requested. We sailed it a couple times, and nope, that was too much.
Working out, yeah.
We cut off 2.5 feet, and so like my point is, it all takes time.
Right, gotta figure it out.
Yeah, so
optimum.
They got a ways to go to get Captain Jean dialed in, but definitely see some potential in her.
Yeah. She definitely looks. Well, she, when she was being built, she looked extremely good being built. When they put her in the water, there was some laughter and fun making of Pat. She's referred to as a canoe and all types of other things. And nobody expected her to sail at all. But again, I think she's certainly coming along, and we'll see whether this regatta changes things up a bit. She's definitely not at the back of the field in any race that she's sailed in as yet. So we'll see. We're about to get started. This is a cup race again, sailing today for trophies and prize money. And but as we always try to say, if there are any conditions that prevent the final race from being sailed on Saturday, then this particular race gets included as part of the point. So it's always important to try to do your best, even in these cup races.
Absolutely. So looking at the official program, the A-class race today, well, it's the ocean race. It's a so-called ocean race. Going back in the day, I guess they actually did race from, after the Georgetown Regatta, they would have an ocean race from Georgetown to Salt Pond. A little risky. We don't do that anymore, but so this cup race is referred to as the ocean race, sponsored by Southwest Diner, and also Honorable Adrian Gibson, MP, sponsoring this race here, this A-class race.
Okay, well, as you can see from our drone view, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 boats on the line. I believe the committee boat is making its final rounding, giving its final instructions, laying out the course, making sure everybody understands. And I think that this race is going to get started very, very soon. So we want you to stay right where you are if you're watching in your living rooms. I had a comment earlier today from someone who just said that they just so enjoy watching racing from their TV. There's a beautiful shot from our boat cam. Good news, Captain Gene. And Rough Justice in the order that they are. And we'll see this race get started in a matter of minutes. Stay tuned.
Yeah, I'm really loving that boat cam that Carson Gray Enterprises has out there.
Introduced to this particular regatta, and I'm sure we'll see more of it in future regattas to come.
Really makes you feel like you're right there. Really does.
Absolutely. Again, Captain Patterson, any particular set strategy on a course that we currently have based on your experience sailing here in Salt Pond?
I wouldn't say anything would be cast in stone right now. I mean, it's a matter of, how you do in the start. So let's say you get out in good clean air and you're in the lead. Then so it's up to you to decide. You go left, you go right, you go up the middle. So that's where the skipper's ability and knowledge and the barman, really comes into play. I'm kind of expecting that they will come up close to the shore on one long starboard tack, but we just don't know until they get going.
Right. All right. So from your bottom, looks like the running tide. And next to the running tide, looks like that is Ed Sky. And then the new legend,
Yep.
Courageous, Rough Justice, Captain Gene. And all right, we understand the 1 minute gun has been fired, so get ready, set, to go.
The crews are all standing at attention with the anchor rope in their hand.
Absolutely. And we're going to get a real close-up. Oh, I had a close-up of our boat cam. If we can get back to that view.
7 of the big boys on the line, ready to take the gun. 56th annual.
All right.
Here we go.
They're getting ready to get started. And we're going to see some heaving and hoving.
It's the boat cam.
The gun is gone. The cannon is fired. I can see the smoke from here. And they're pulling.
All right, here we go. Heave ho, boys. Hoist them sails, and let's go.
And good news. We understand. Buzzy roll. Skipper, and I can see Buzzy there giving the instructions.
Oh, what a great view of the start line from the boat cam.
Absolutely. And good news, trying to be the first with the sails up. It's at the top, mast to mast.
Oh, no, not good, not good.
Hooked at the top. They're going to have to...
This guy needs to trim the jib. There we go.
And what an unfortunate start.
Most unfortunate for those two boats.
I mean,
Still tangled up at the top.
Siamese twins right now. Just cannot move. And how does that happen, Captain Plug? How does that happen?
Some line got hooked around the other one or something there. You got the halyard for the main, the halyard for the jib, and then 3 stays.
Meanwhile, good news. And
Captain Gene with a silent partner sail on.
Oh, yeah, borrowed that from the silent partner. All right, it looks like our Siamese twins have managed to unhook themselves. And we'll see exactly what kind of metal Stefan is made of.
They got their work cut out for them.
We're going to have to sail from behind. Beautiful shot right there of the Ed Sky.
Still some chop out there in Salt Pond Harbor, but not like this morning.
Absolutely. Well, these big boats are able to power through a lot easier.
Oh, yeah.
Than the smaller sloops.
28-foot length overall, about a dozen crew on each boat.
And this race is slightly different. It looks like they're going to actually make their way around those islands out there before they come back this way.
I don't know. There's a fair amount of shallow water over in that area. And you might go in close to the rock there and then tack over on port and come back across the harbor.
All right, we'll see. They make their way.
Here's your top 5.
Top 5 plus 2 that got tangled, and it looks like the 2 that got tangled decided to take a different approach altogether and try to make the best of it.
Happy that nobody got hurt and they were able to untangle and keep going. We want everybody in this race to finish.
All right, so let's see if we can identify the boats. To your top right, I believe that's Rough Justice, followed by the Legend, and then to the left, Captain Gene. Good News.
Ed Sky tacking over.
Tacking.
Rough
Rough Justice also tacking. And Rough Justice is going to cut across New Legend. Captain Jean now going with her tack.
Don't want to get in too close to the shore of that little rock there. It gets pretty shallow pretty quick. Good News might want to think about tacking pretty soon.
If not, she may be picking up some fish off the shoals. And a lot of chatter downstairs. But I can tell you, Rough Justice seems to be the boat right now.
She's stepping out a bit, that's for sure.
And I can tell you, if you see Captain Gene comes in the top 3, you won't be able to hold Pat Smith down today.
Well, they're holding in there right now with that
Legend to the left.
easily identifiable silent partner sail. Nobody with a large arm today. It's just too windy, too much sail. It overpowers you and just cuts your speed. So I'd say the fleet's pretty much got good sail selection going. Mediums. Great shot from the drone of Captain Gene. Main sheet, 2 guys on the main sheet. No winches allowed on these boats.
Got to pull it all in.
Rope and pulley and manpower. So they got the main set.
And that's quite a few guys out there on that pry. Double pry.
Captain Gene looking very trim right now.
Absolutely. Looking fantastic as she makes her way up. She can smell Rough Justice in the front.
They just need to stay hard on the wind. Don't get knocked down. Pinch it up at every opportunity you can. There was an elderly gentleman I sailed on the Southern Cross a couple times. I wish I could remember his name, but I skip it, and I could remember him telling me, "Let her walk, skipper, let her walk." Like, let her come up into the wind, you know?
Right.
Let her walk, skipper.
Don't fight it.
That's what Gene needs to do now, just let her walk.
All right, and I think that's a shot of Stefanos and running tide after untangling himself from the New Courageous. And he's going to try a whole different strategy and see.
He would need a whole different strategy if he's going to have any chance of placing in this race. But if anybody can do it, Stefan can do it.
Stefan can do it, is correct.
He knows his harbor like the back of his hand. A nice shot of Rough Justice there. Crew looking proper in their uniform shirts.
Not a lot of movement, just keeping that boat real relaxed. Excellent shot from the boat cam. Keeping pace.
The barman there giving some instructions back to the skipper. Skipper really can't see through the sail there. Anybody was below him. So he's dependent on the barman to give him directions and let him know where the other boats are. Slicing through the waves.
Absolutely. Beautiful shot. Up close. You're right there. It's right in your living rooms. And there's Josh Knowles in that blue hat. And I could tell you, if he's able to capture this one today, He's going to be a happy skipper at the end of the day.
Well, they're going to need to be on their A game. They got a few other boats behind them that would like a win as well. So they need to be on their A game if they're going to win.
All right, so all the boats are now making their way upwind, downwind, windward marker in sight. Still some time. This course stretched out quite a bit. I was thinking it was a lot shorter than what I'm actually seeing.
Well, it's the ocean race, so I think they want to make it as long as possible to keep the tradition going there. Not sure how many laps we're going to do because it is now coming up on 20 to 7. We got sunset probably in about an hour. We don't want anybody out there in the dark.
No. I think the only harbor I've seen we've actually raced in the dark, Rollville, some years ago.
Oh, God.
Had a late start, and it was literally dark by the time the boats got in. Thankfully, Rollville is pretty protected as a harbor.
Yep.
Mostly shallows, sandbanks, and you could take a chance. Well, I believe I see Running Tide now has decided to try to get back towards the fleet on a starboard tack. And we will see her just swing back to the right with that camera, and there you go. Running Tide coming at you. And we're going to have to wait to see exactly where she ends up relative to the rest of the fleet by the time she gets back into the mix of things. I think right now her initial competitor would be the boat that she was tangled with, who was coming towards her on port. And we'll see whether
we have a crossing there.
There's going to be a crossing. We'll see. Well, there's the boat that we talked about. Courageous now tacking to cover. And I'm going to assume, Cap, what would be the reason for tacking at that point as opposed to trying to cross first?
You know, I'm not really sure about that. Perhaps, you feel a little wind shift on your face, and, you think, now's the time to tack, get a little lift when you come back. It could be something like that.
And you kind of point towards them while they're fighting, trying to point away from you.
Exactly.
All right, so we'll see.
So those two boats probably racing amongst themselves
at this point. Absolutely. And
with the other five heading up, tacking their way up to the windward marker, with Rough Justice looking pretty good right now, but we got a long ways to go. Anything can happen.
All right, so we have 5 boats going in one direction, 2 boats coming down. Running Tide looks like she is losing a little bit of the ground there. Seem to be lagging a bit, but now wind now back in the sail. It's going to be interesting to see where those two end up. And I'm surprised. I'm looking out on the course that they were unable to get Cobra out of the water because she's on the race course.
Oh, she is still there, yep.
Yeah. It could be an issue for some boats.
It quite very well could be because they were on ley line for the marker.
Yep.
Oh, Ed Sky's up there, but she's below Rough Justice and the Legend and Captain Gene. But when they come back, it'll be interesting to see who cuts who. Meanwhile, Rough Justice looking pretty good.
Yeah, she's definitely looking to extend. Good news. Seeming to have some issues with the sail at the moment.
Something's not right there with the main, that's for sure. Oh, gosh.
Losing power. Losing power. It's almost like an engine sputtering, gasping for gas.
They certainly cut their speed down, but they're still going. Not sure what's going on there, but they're definitely, the mainsail's definitely way out of trim.
And Looks like the sail's coming down.
Sailor's coming down. And behind them there is Courageous, Running Tide, fighting their own war.
Rough Justice now with attack, starboard attack, and she's going to try to make the mark from there.
I think she'll have no problem doing that.
Again, we have a sunken boat that's going to come into play for some of these boats.
Yeah, she's
Rough Justice has got an issue because I believe Legend is going to cut her. At the bottom of the course, we'll see.
I think Rough Justice got him looking at it through the binoculars. Definitely not walking away.
Legend is not moving, so I believe the Legend is going to cut Rough Justice.
Let's see here.
Did she, or is she behind?
She's behind.
Behind, all right. So Rough Justice.
Rough Justice out front. New Legend tacking over right behind him.
In second place. And
Ed Sky back there attacking.
Lo and behold, I believe Captain Gene is going to be on top of Ed Sky.
I think so. I think they're definitely going to cut them. That'll put Captain Gene in third place, coming to the windward marker.
In third place. Wow.
Here they go, tacking over.
And good news, definitely in trouble. Sail down. Courageous now making her way up, and Running Tide in a very unfamiliar spot. Last place at the moment.
Very unfamiliar. Rough Justice dipping the crew in the water just to keep them alert.
And let's see how they're going to maneuver around the sunken Cobra. Are they on the inside or the outside?
Looks like they're going to leave it to their starboard. New Legend not too far behind them. Holding in second place. So we got Long Island 1 and 2, Exuma third.
Ed Sky in fourth.
Yeah, that sunk boat there is definitely right in the line.
Yeah, because it looks like Captain Gene is going to actually cross over on the opposite side of where Legend and Rough Justice crossed her. And I hope they judge where that stern is properly, or where the hull of that boat is properly, and don't run into her. Rough Justice, boat cam view, going around. First place. Josh Knowles.
There comes out the pole for getting the jib out to go wing on wing for the downwind run. Let's see the barman grab the jib there by the clue and get that pole in place, get that jib out, catch every bit of air, make that downwind run.
Almost like a spinnaker. New Legend.
New Legend determined not to let him get away. Clear the windward marker. They should be bringing their jib over.
And while we were at it, it looks like Good News has gotten sailing again. But she's now going to give up her spot. Running Tide is actually looking like she's made up some ground and will be not at the rear, possibly in fifth place.
Yeah, it's a fast boat, Dwight. I'm not surprised, even though they had that tangle up and set them back a minute and a half or so. I'm not surprised to see them make up ground like that and come back. Here's Gene from the boat cam.
Captain Gene around in third place. And yeah, I mean, it looks like Running Tide may actually be in fourth place depending on what she does with that Sky. And she's definitely right behind her.
You're right behind, but not too far,
Not too far is correct. So we had Sky in fourth place, Running Tide in fifth place.
Well, depending on how many laps we have, see what kind of a comeback they can make. It's definitely a fast boat.
But on your screens right now, that's the Rough Justice sailing number 10 and out front, Long Island in first place. I'm not sure who's sailing Legend.
Neither am I.
I believe it may be, I don't think it's Mark. Sorry, not Mark. It's not David. But it may be Jesse, who filled in Georgetown. And so I think it may be Jesse Knowles sailing Legend. We'll find out at some point. But Running Tide now around the mark, and I can tell you she is coming with some speed, and I believe Ed Sky is going to be toast in short order.
No doubt about it. Looking out the window here, Running Tide has definitely got speed going. As I mentioned several times, she's a fast boat. You can generally count on her to be up in the top group. And although they had a little tangle up in the start line there, she is coming up stomping. Rough Justice has a nice little lead there on second place, but it ain't over till it's over, as they say.
Absolutely, and sailing. And look at that view from our boat camp, coming right at you. Just massive amount of canvas on these boats. Rough Justice holding on to a sizable lead.
Keeping the sail trim just so, get the belly right down on the surface of the water there, catch up all the air that's coming along, scoop it up, translate that into power, keep the speed going. Great shot from the boat cam. And they're sailing out into the ocean.
This is definitely an ocean race because it's long and the mark is way out there, way out there. I mean, I'm seeing this mark and it looks like it's got to be at least near Williamstown.
So
because it's far.
I got to ask one of the old timers or somebody who might know, when they sail from Georgetown to Salt Pond, I mean, you could sail the whole way on the bank.
Right.
Or I guess you could cut across the bottom part of the Exuma Sound, which would be ocean.
Yeah. Yes.
So
yes.
that's probably where the ocean part of it comes from.
Yeah.
Cutting across the Sound there. That took some bravery and determination to do that.
For sure. All right, so just one boat left to go around the mark. And I believe that's going to be the good news.
I think so, yeah.
Bringing up the rear. After having some issues with her sail. And we mentioned earlier that she's being skipped today by Buzzy Roll. And Buzzy has not had any real good luck today. As far as sailing is concerned, he sank in C class, B class. I think he got a 4th place. And in the A class, he's right now bringing in the buoy.
Well, we got a little bit of a spread, between the boats and the 7 boats in the fleet. But the lead boat there, the Rough Justice, she needs to mind her P's and Q's when they clear the leeward marker there and start heading up, because the boats behind them will be going for them. And as we've seen in some of the races today, one boat goes this way, the next boat goes that way, and when they come back tack and come back together, you see a totally different result.
Yep, absolutely. So you're going to have to be wise in your decision on where on the course you're going to make that move. And these boats will literally go almost out of sight before they get to that mark. And only because I'm wearing magnifying glasses that I can actually see that mark about 40 miles out there in distance.
It's out there.
But they'll get there eventually and swing their way around.
Legends driving hard, holding on a second.
Captain Gene still holding on to a comfortable third place, and I'm sure Pat is as excited as one could possibly be, because this is possibly the first race that he's actually been in what they call the money,
Yes.
top three.
You know, the third place there, looking pretty good right now.
Barring any mishaps, yeah, he should be satisfied and comfortable that he could maintain that particular position, because there's enough distance between him and fourth place Ed Sky, who's followed by Running Tide, a boat that got in an entanglement with the New Courageous to begin the race, threw both of them out of it, and that is why they are where they are right now. Good News had an issue and had to lower her sail, and that is why she is where she's at right now, bringing up the rear. But as the boats sail along, and from our drone you can see the distance between Rough Justice and the New Legend. I would say
it's a fair lead there.
A pretty decent lead for sure, and the drone will swing around and we'll see the distance between second and third and fourth. The only positions that seem threatened at the moment would be fourth and fifth, because Running Tide, currently sitting in fifth place, seems to be gaining a bit on Ed Sky, who's in fourth, and so
definitely looks like it from this angle.
we know that Stefan has got every trick in the book up his sleeve, and once they get around this very distant downwind marker, he is going to attempt something to try to get back in the scheme of things.
We got that crossover maneuver that they do going around the marker there.
Yep.
Right now, the Stefan's on the outside, which puts him in prime position for that.
Yep, absolutely.
If he tries to go on the inside line there, he's really going to be traveling too far. You want to make the straightest line from marker to marker. That's the quickest line.
Mm-hmm.
So you probably just hold right where he is and try that crossover maneuver when they get to the leeward marker.
Well, A-class racing underway.
There's the marker.
Finally coming into sight. Rough Justice can smell it. They can probably see it at this point. The guys on the Legend hoping for a mistake.
Yeah, exactly. Rough Justice is going to need a nice tight rounding here and get hard on the wind as soon as possible.
And there's a view from the boat cam to the marker.
Nice and clean, no contact.
And they're around.
Trimming the mainsail. Nice and smooth.
And second place now coming up. New Legend, if we can get back down to our boat cam. Give the fans downstairs something to see, because they're all watching. They want to see that view.
Let's see if they can make a tighter rounding than Rough Justice did. If the skipper can get it pushed right up into the wind.
And you're absolutely right. That's exactly what they're going to try to do. And second place around. And we'll sit here for a bit while Captain Gene makes her way to that mark.
New Legend, if they can point a little higher. But if you point high, sometimes pinching it up into the wind to get to windward there just cuts your speed, and it's kind of self-defeating.
Still not 100% sure who the skipper is on New Legend. Traditionally been sailed by David Knowles, but David has indicated that he has retired from sailing. And so Legend sailing with a new skipper. And Captain Gene now going around in third place. And look at that canoe shape.
Definitely has a very distinctive look to it.
Center of the hull rides very low in the water.
Two guys working on the main sheet there. It takes a lot of muscle to trim in that big mainsail.
She's around in third place. And next two boats approaching the downwind mark going to be the Ed Sky and Running Tide. And look at Pat Smith, yellow shirt.
Still trimming the sails. Got the guy on the jib sheet there trying to get it down just a couple more inches. It really can make a difference. Just a few inches on getting that sheet in the right spot there. Get the sail trimmed.
And we have sunset sailing in Long Island at the moment. And to those of you watching on television, Facebook, YouTube, it's not as dark as the particular shot may seem to suggest. We still got quite a bit of sunlight left.
7:44 is sunset. So we got
Almost
45 minutes till sunset. We're good.
All right, I believe Rough Justice has now just gone back on a port tack, and she's going to be coming back into view soon.
I wonder if Captain Gene is using a jib to match that mainsail they borrowed from Silent Partner. If that's a match set, or if that's their own jib and just the main borrowed. Yeah, again, you don't want to sail in too close to that rock. It gets shallow pretty quick. I think the tide is incoming, and I think it runs right along that shore there in towards the shore here in the harbor, so not going to be bucking the tide, I don't think.
And as we see, basically only shadows at the moment until we get our drone back up in the sky. And possibly a shot from our boat cam. Current angle is being provided from our dock cam.
Yeah, shout out to the dock camera operators there for keeping the boats right in the center of the screen. I'm sure it's been challenging for the drone operator with this breeze today.
Yeah, for sure.
We got a few spectator boats out there today. It's just the first day of the regatta.
And it's going to build us to.
We get into the holiday weekend there.
Oh, yeah. Boats going to be coming over from Exuma and Mass. Boats out of Nassau.
Folks, if you're watching and you're thinking about coming to regatta, come. That's all I can tell you. It's quite the experience. If you've been before, you know. If you've never been before, you've got to come and experience it. Take it from me.
And I second wholeheartedly Captain Plug's comments about coming to regattas. It's a place that I've been coming for the last 17, 18 years, I believe, minus the COVID years. And last year, I've been here in Long Island every year since 2006.
I look forward to every regatta, really.
Yeah, they're all fun.
But I especially look forward to the Long Island Regatta. I got a few personal friends here, and my wife also enjoys coming to Long Island when it's not regatta.
Right. There's Rough Justice and the crew. And I can see Josh with a big smile in the back of that boat.
Yeah. He
He's
ought to be
enjoying
smiling
this.
right now. He's in pretty good position. As long as they don't make any mistakes, I think they'll be okay. I'm not sure exactly how many laps we're going to do. You know, looking at the clock on the wall, Dwight, I'm thinking they may just come up here and finish.
Probably,
Which that'd be a lap and a half, right?
Yep, around the mark and then into the finish line. I don't think it's going to make sense to even go any further because
Too close to dark.
yeah, and considering that the boats are spread out the way they are,
Yeah.
the chances of changing positions probably nil
Yeah, very unlikely, exactly.
unless mishap happens. So, from a racing perspective, it doesn't really make sense to extend this type of a race any longer than necessary.
Agreed.
So, for those of you who are coming to the regatta site, there's a lot of food available. Baked crab, mutton, souse,
I had stewed conch for lunch. That was awesome.
stewed conch, boiled fish, all of the fantastic foods available here in Long Island. Some people come just for the food. Some come for the sailing. Some come for a combination of both. And you can't forget the libations, particularly if you're drinking some of the local stuff. Coconut water and you know what.
Yes, I did also have one of them too.
Well,
How can you come to Regatta and not?
I believe I'm on my third or fourth for the day. And if I wasn't on my fourth, I'll be on my fourth shortly.
As soon as this race is over, man. Yeah, Rough Justice looking really good out there. Got a good start off the line. And really, Dwight haven't looked back since then, you know.
No, absolutely. She's kept the lead. Was not really challenged at any point. Did not have to do any defensive tacking.
Nope.
Which is good. I mean, from a sailing fan's perspective, we love to see that because we want the races to be a little bit more exciting and closer. But from someone who was actually in the race, this is what you want. Get out front and not have to worry about anybody else.
That's it.
For the rest of the race. And Rough Justice, I believe, was able to do that today. We don't know what would have happened if we didn't have the entanglement with Running Tide and Courageous, because those are two of the top tier boats as well. And so it may have been a different race altogether, but that doesn't really matter because sailing is sailing.
That's it. Sailing is racing, you know. Anything can happen. And this is you see the results of what can happen. One little mishap on the start line and boom.
Yep. Thankfully, I think most of these boats will say this one was not for points unless it has to be included later on. But as it is, it's more for bragging rights and for those coins that come with Ocean Race, Cup Race sailing.
And a lot of the sailors, say that, hey, if we're going to have a bad race during the regatta,
let it be this one.
Let it be today, even though it could end up being for points. But if we get to sail all the races, it's not.
Yep.
So
this is the one. If you're going to have a mess up, let it be this one.
Yep.
It's almost like in golf, for those that play golf. If you're going to have a bad day in golf, let it be your first day.
Absolutely. Now, here's the new legend. She's above Rough Justice, but
far behind.
Yeah, not close enough to, I don't think, be a factor. Justice will eventually tack back over on the starboard and should be able to handily cut the new legend.
Yeah, for sure. And so, all things being what they are, I believe that I doubt that the positions as they were on the initial rounding of the windward mark are going to change. Rough Justice legend Captain Jean will probably remain the same. And looks like Stefan has once again decided to take it all the way out and try to pick up some speed and come on a starboard run straight to the buoy. We'll see whether the second time up allows him to move from 5th to 4th.
Well, the prize money for this race runs 1st through 4th.
Well, there you go.
So Stefan's driving hard for it.
There you go. He's gonna have to punch it out with that sky to get there. And it definitely looks like Ed Sky is dragging at the moment. We'll see whether Stefan is able to get him drag himself back in after a very terrible start with the entanglement.
Today's A-Class race sponsored by Southwest Diner and Honorable Adrian Gibson, MP for Long Island.
We certainly thank all of the sponsors who continually contribute to making these regattas a success. The money is never enough to compensate sailors for the amount of effort that goes into sailing, but it's well appreciative. And regattas offer you, as a business owner, an opportunity to have your name exposed to the thousands of people that visit these regattas, and certainly now that people are watching it, be able to call your name and be affiliated with sponsoring a regatta. So get on board with that.
You know, and Dwight, on that subject, I think regatta fans are brand loyal.
Yes,
you know,
absolutely.
they see your brand, your product at regatta. They go, hey, you know, and then when it's not regatta, they go, oh yeah, that's right, they sponsored the regatta.
Yeah,
I'll buy that product.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Rough Justice is tacked back over on the starboard.
Yep, and she's
sure to be on the ley line to the windward marker.
Well, I could tell you, the chatter downstairs, I can hear it.
It's definitely picking up volume.
They think Legend has a chance, but I do not think that Legend is going to even be close.
Yeah. They might have tightened up the gap a little bit, but no, she's. I don't think she can do it. Rough Justice just has too much speed going here, too far out front.
Yeah, and there's still quite a ways to the mark, and it definitely looks like the committee boat is setting up for the finish.
Yep.
Just in front of us, so
right in front of the tower here.
They're going to swing around this windward mark and make their way to the finish line.
Rough Justice is looking pretty good.
Legend has definitely tightened the gap, so to speak.
They have. I'm figuring the fellas downstairs don't have this view that we have on the screen now. Rough Justice really looking good.
And actually, it's not even as close as even we were thinking, because by the time the Legend gets her attack done, Rough Justice is...
She's gone.
Going to have some distance.
There you go. Prize out. Get the crew out. Get her heeled over just so. Keep your speed going.
Perfect timing. Complete the tack.
Good tack, but they need a little rocket engine on the back there, I think, to catch the Rough Justice right now.
Yeah, Rough Justice is gone. And let me tell you, Captain Gene is holding on to third place comfortably.
I know Pat's grinning there.
Absolutely. It's going to be the Pat show at the end of the day. Captain Jane finally getting her name called in the numbers. And so we're going to look to see whether Ed Sky is able to hold off Running Tide for that last money place finish, 4th place in today's A-Class. Stefan definitely trying everything in his power to get back into position. And I believe we're going to have just a little bit more excitement as Ed Sky and Running Tide make their way to that final windward marker, because
I think so.
Ed Sky is going to be coming on starboard, and Running Tide is going to be coming directly to the mark on port.
Yep. All right. There's a new Legend, 2nd place, coming around with marker, heading over towards the cultural site, the broadcast tower here. And you can see the Rough Justice out front, looking real good for a win.
Oh yeah, she's even gaining some speed as she makes her way, and as long as they keep her upright, no sinking. You know, we've had some mysterious sinkings today happening right in front of our eyes and not even seeing it. All right, Running Tide now, committing to the port tack. But before that, we're going to see Rough Justice get some smoke as she goes through the finish line for the gun. And the stage is set, though, for the Running Tide and Ed Sky for 4th and 5th place, the final money spot. Rough Justice.
About to take the gun.
She's got it, and those guys, you can hear them hollering from way up here. No gun.
No gun. Okay, well, hey,
Yeah,
they
there's
won
your
anyhow. There's the gun.
Delayed gun.
That's all right, boys. We got first place.
Rough Justice, jubilant sailors.
As he should be.
Absolutely. When you can take out the Legend and Running Tide all at one time.
Yeah, well, you know, the Legend guys, they ain't got nothing to hang their head about. You know, they're right there.
2nd place.
Can't win them all.
And I believe, Captain Plug, that Running Tide has accomplished her goal of bringing home that 4th place prize.
She does looking pretty tight on the windward marker there.
I believe she's going to get to that mark way before Ed Sky gets there.
Yeah, I think so, Dwight.
And Captain Jean.
I'm Gene coming around in 3rd place. Way to go.
First place, Rough Justice. 2nd place, New Legend. Long Island, Exuma. Captain Jean, the newest A-class boat in the fleet, is going to collect herself a 3rd place. And Running Tide coming to the mark. She has gained and overtaken Ed Sky. And it's not even close.
That's amazing how the comeback they've made.
Big time. Sailed herself right back.
A little wide around the windward marker, but still got enough distance and speed to hold on to 4th place.
Absolutely.
So Stefan's put Running Tide in the money.
Yep. From a entangled, could not get off the line spot, just coming 4th, I think, is a tremendous job. And you have to congratulate Stefan. He never gives up. He's always wanting to win.
That's the attitude you got to have, man.
You're absolutely right. And so congratulations again to the crew of Rough Justice from our boat cam. Look at that, Josh Knowles, that blue cap. Extremely happy. He's going to give an interview now to the press. Got the microphone in his hand. And Captain G and Pat Smith and the crew of Exuma. He's got his brother Edison as the bowman. And they went across in 3rd place. Congratulations. I believe this is going to be the first prize that Captain Jean,
I think so,
in her very short career,
first podium,
is going to collect. And so if she never collects another one, at least she knows her first one was at the 56th Annual Long Island Regatta. Good showing from those guys. 3rd place. Running Tide now coming across in 4th place after making up some considerable amount of space and
absolutely
ground on Ed Sky, who had her at a good pace. But Stefan decided to take the outside track, come in on starboard, and then a port tack direct to the mark, and has at least brought in Running Tide in the money. Well, Captain Plug, I believe day 1 is coming to an end.
And it was quite an excellent, most excellent day 1. We saw a lot of action out there today, position changing. Fortunately, a few boats sink into the bottom. But all in all, considering the wind conditions, not a bad first day to this 56th Long Island Regatta here in Salt Pond. And man, I'm already looking forward to tomorrow.
Hyped. Oh yeah, I am hyped. I'm not sure exactly what our wind conditions are going to be like, whether it's going to be the same, it's going to increase, it's going to diminish. We'll see. Long Island is always very, very unpredictable.
No doubt about that. Yeah, I love the drone shot of the cultural site here in Salt Pond.
And tomorrow's races are going to be the important ones because that's when the points are going to start to accumulate.
Absolutely. First of 3 points races tomorrow.
Yep, and we're going to be out of the gate pretty early. E-class going off at 8:30, followed by C-class at 10:30, B-class at 1, and the A-class, I think, is scheduled to go off at 4 o'clock.
That is correct. That's the official schedule. Encourage all the sailors to, let's try to be on time to the start line. Let's keep it on schedule for everybody's sake. You guys, commentators, spectators, people watching at home on YouTube and Facebook, thank you very much for watching. Hope you'll tune in again tomorrow. Be sure to leave us a comment where you're viewing from and what boat you're pulling for. We'll give you a shout out.
Absolutely. Well, Captain Plug, once again, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure doing this with you. As always, look forward to doing it again, starting again tomorrow morning. We'll probably get on air a couple of minutes before the race start.
Absolutely.
8:15 thereabouts. So all of you who are able to, just get on that link again tomorrow, YouTube or Facebook, and tune in to Sailing, the 56th annual Long Island Regatta, live from Salt Pond. We are getting completed just as the sun is about to sink over the horizon. Thank you very much to our crew, Chrissy on the controls, Carson with the drone, Jemiah out on the water, Chuck at the onshore camera, doing an excellent job once again, bringing this Long Island Regatta live for the first time, I believe, on video to the world.
It's been fantastic, and I'm happy to be a part of it. And again, really looking forward to the action tomorrow. So everybody have a good night, and be there tomorrow morning for that 8:30 start on the E-Class.
Good evening to all.
Well, you know, they always say it's best for you to receive your flowers, if any, while you're still above ground. So I'm very honored and moved by consideration of Long Islanders and making for this film. Well, you know, like everything else, it had its challenges, and it has ups and downs. And it's a very rewarding career if you're disciplined enough and willing to put in the time and the effort. But it's been quite a journey, you know. But for the most part, the interaction with me and the Long Islanders is pretty good. It's a pretty strong one. You know, for a person from north to south, pretty good relationship with the Long Islanders. We've had 3 boats. We've had 3 boats. The first boat we had was the Eminent Seekers. That boat, the keel was laid in 1987, and we commissioned her in '88. I remember we departed St. Augustine in February of 1988. And I ran that for a while, ran that for Teleboat in 1993, I think. And then it was sold off to our cousins, the Maycoms. And then we looked at replacing that boat with another boat, which is called the Cherisem. And the Cherisem came about in 1995. We serviced Salt Pond in the Cherisem from 95 until we got the Highland Link in 2004. And we've been servicing the Long Island community from 2004 to date. Yeah, that's about almost going on 21 years with the Highland Link. Yep, I've been participating in regattas from quite a while. I would say probably from 1983, I want to say. 83, 84 is when I started on the parade list. I've been sailing actively in the regattas from then. Well, sailing is in me. It's in my blood. My grandfather sailed for a living, literally, on a sailboat. We sailed between the island of Regatta Island, Cuba, and there was a lot of trade with Haiti and the Bahamas back then. And then my dad came up after my granddad, and he was doing the exact same thing. And I guess I just picked it up, my dad left off. It's in me, it's in my blood. And I sail on the A-class. We have a boat we have 2 boats, the New Courageous and the original Courageous. So I sail on those 2 boats. Most recently, the New Courageous, I've been on that. She was launched in '97. But I've also sailed on B-class boats and C-class boats, which are a lot more work. But I sail on all classes. Smaller boats tend to have you more active because they're not as steady as the A-class boats. crankier, so you got to be on your P's and Q's on those small boats. If not, you're going to sink, capsize. I sank once or twice here. The key is to try not to sink. Yeah, you want to pick up where I left off last year. Last year we didn't win. I think the running tide won last year, but we had our issues, our fair share of issues. Nobody really cares about that, you know. As far as they're concerned, they're going to beat, which is correct. So I'm going to go up there this year and give it another try. Yeah, for quite a while. Well, first, it took me a minute to take it all in. I'm like, wow. Finally, somebody's giving me a little bit of recognition. Yeah, I'm very humble and moved, and I'm really appreciative of the consideration of the Long Island District. It's not for the faint of heart, I can tell you that. It's not easy. It's a lot of time away from home, a lot of missed birthdays, missed everything. You know, it's a life on the sea. You know, and not everybody is cut out for this type of work. You know, it takes a special individual to take on a life of a seaman. You know, well, the key word in most things in life is, if you're the young people, is discipline. I would say discipline. You have to be disciplined in whatever it is you do. Discipline and have a mind to work. You'll be all right. Well, to all of my sailing adversaries out there, courageous comment. Be on the lookout. Be coming.